A lot of people look at AI to be able to help them get a project off the ground, but AI can be a really effective tool to use in your coding practice. Doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're someone who's seasoned. And in fact, if you're someone who's seasoned, there's really an advantage because you actually know how to read the code. I not only have the projects you see in this channel, I have several other projects, including a crypto trading bot that I've coded using the help of AI. And there's both good things and bad things. So I'm going to share the experiences of that and what you need to know if you want to take that journey yourself. So stick around, we'll get into it. So I started out with a number of different ones. I've tried all the different AI platforms, I think, so far now. I've tried Copilot. I tried Gemini. I use Gemini because I have Google Workspace already. So it was already something I was spending money on. I've also used Claude and ChatGPT, obviously, as well. And majority of what I do these days is with Gemini, but it really depends on what type of project you're doing and what you're looking for, which platform would make better sense. So what's my experience been like with coding AI? Well, at times it's been like having a senior architect sitting right beside you, or a great QA person, quality assurance person sit beside you. Other times it's like having a junior programmer where you got to explain everything to them. So if you're a seasoned programmer, one of the values you're going to have as AI comes in is it may not replace your job. It may actually complement your job, and where your value is going to come in is you can actually read the code, look at it and go, no, this doesn't make sense, right? There's been a number of times where if I had just trusted what AI had told me, it would have made a mistake. And there has been times where it's made mistakes. There's been syntax errors because of maybe an API is updated and the AI hasn't caught it. There's also logic mistakes that it tries almost that try this, see if it works. So it's almost like same as having a regular software team, right? If you had a senior developer, senior architect working with a lead developer and a bunch of junior developers, you'd have someone say, okay, this is the design. And this is where I started. I kind of started with that architect role in mind and said, okay, for example, I want to create the CAN Sniffer, right? Here's the boards I have. So I have a ESP32S3, and I have an LCD screen, and I have a CAN bus connector. And then I got an OBD2 cable. How do we wire these together? And how do we code it? Well, no different than when you're working with a team, it did spit out the wiring diagram and the code. Now, I'm not a hardware architect myself. I had people that did my hardware in the past. So having AI help me with that part of it, it was like having that member of the team that I didn't have, right? Or that external contractor or resource, which is great. But there were even times in the wiring where I had to work and make sure that people were, or that the wiring and the coding was correct. For example, the TFT screen, it told me to connect the reset port of the TFT screen to a pinout on the Teensy board, also on the ESP. And sorry, no, it wasn't on the Teensy, just on the ESP, but because the ESP board booted up so fast, the pin wasn't getting that reset out, and all you'd see is this white on the screen, right? So the other thing you'll find is, just like a team, you're going to have to go, hey guys, or hey AI, this didn't work. What are we going to do to fix it, right? So be prepared that there's going to be a little bit of back and forth that you've got to have with that AI. So number one is, like I said, my number one tip is don't just trust what you got. Make sure you spend some time looking through it. If you're a junior programmer, you're using AI for the first time, or you haven't coded before, make sure you maybe work with someone who can mentor you in how to look through that code, or just make sure you ask the right questions when you're testing things, and do things in a test environment where you're not going to do any damage. So that's number one. Number two, AI is great at getting you what you want, but you still have to tell it what it is you're trying to do, right? It's not going to just go, well, like, for example, my trading bot. I said, I want to start with a trading bot and I want it to trade crypto and I want it to trade using a leveraged account. And these are the assets I'm looking at trading, right? So to begin with, it started really loose because I didn't give it a lot of criteria, right? So it started with trading on technical analysis, which I knew about before I got into it. I've been in the crypto world prior to this. But it started with something that was very simplistic, and also something that it was making it very hard to get a lot of success or even a lot of trade opportunities because it was just it was way too conservative. So I turned around and I said, okay, based off of what we've seen so far, this is just too conservative. It's not really giving me the results I want. Well, then it turned around and said, well, let's change to using these technical analysis patterns. I knew those ones, and actually I forgot about them. They're like, hey, I remember this was something that people used back when I was more active in crypto. And then we actually got on a good path where now I actually have a bot that's working pretty well outside of the small tweaks here and there. So again, point two is make sure you're telling AI what it is you want. And if you're not getting what you want, tell it that. Don't be afraid to tell it that it's not what you want and you want to change it. Third thing is use AI as that sounding board. So again, for example, in these projects I've had, I've said, okay, well, here's something goes wrong. Say we get a crash. I cut and paste that trace back from the code into AI and say, hey, here's what happened. What did we do wrong? What do we got to fix? Right? Now, I am a person who I like to maintain my own code and not just have AI do it. So there are times where I've just taken the code fully as AI and put it into my there. But a lot of times as the project gets bigger, I get to the point where I start maintaining my own code and I might make mistakes. So the other thing that I do is I actually periodically take the code, put it through AI and say, hey, can you audit my code for me and check for mistakes? In my crypto trading bot, I actually found a number of places where having that audit saved my bacon. So again, you almost use it like that sounding board where when you're not sure of something, you can ask it. And don't be afraid to ask those questions because AI has no feelings. It doesn't care whether you made a mistake. It doesn't care if it made a mistake. It just goes, oops, sorry, here you go. Right? So just focus on using it for what it's intended for. Number 4 is if you think that AI is going to provide you everything, you might have a long journey. And that's where us as seasoned programmers really come in. Having that knowledge to be able to assemble the pieces of the code, like I said, and maintain it yourself after a while and not strictly rely on the AI is paramount. Now, there are stuff like I do use the Lovable platform for website development. I have a person's website that I've created on there for a salon. And in there, I let Lovable maintain all the code itself because I actually don't look at the code in that particular case because that's a case where I just want it to produce an output. So I give it prompts that say, here's what I need, make it. And I know there are a number of app builders out there that are built that way that are no code at all, which is great. But if you're dealing like I do a lot, where I'm actually using code, I don't like relying on it all. And the other thing I've done is I've questioned the AI when I've seen something that I know from, say, reading the documentation on the API or something like that, where I've turned around and called it out and said, are you sure this is right? And so again, and I know this is maybe a rehash of a previous point, but just make sure you don't trust it 100% fully and realize that you know that there's going to be pieces you might have to help it with, or you might have to look at other sources to be able to do it. Now, So what's my overall feeling on AI? I think it is an absolutely great addition to your team. I think that, one, you still need to lead the project if this is your project and your baby that you're putting together, or you need to have someone who leads the project for you if you're going to do it with AI. You need to understand that it's that tool that's going to help you save a lot of time doing the mundane. Because there's a lot of mundane things that happen in coding that you really don't need to have a team full of junior programmers to be able to do. You could maybe have one or two and have AI do a lot of that work, right? And you can train your junior programmers on how to use that AI to do those mundane tasks. Your intermediate people, that's a good place where especially when they're looking at, unit testing, qualification, that quality assurance, that kind of stuff. They can use AI to be that sounding board. And then also the architect and the senior developers can use that to go, what design decisions that should we make? So this is really almost that jack of all trades that kind of moves back and forth within the project, but you still need that human element to make it go, at least at this point. The other thing is the idea is yours. It's not AI's. So, you got to steer it. But if you can steer it and you can be clear about what it is you're trying to do and not be afraid of what you do and don't tell AI, it can do amazing things for you and save you all kinds of time. Like that can sniffer that I put together in a day. Whereas it might have taken me a matter of a week or something to put that together on my own if I didn't have the help, especially in the hardware design. My crypto bot. So far we're 2 weeks in, and we went through 21. We're out just about at iteration 22, and we're now at a rock solid place within 2 weeks, and there's a lot of coders out there that could have taken over a month. And that included testing, and of course testing takes time. That's elapsed time. But I would say, the majority of the coding was done within a matter of a few days instead of a few weeks. So AI can be your friend. AI can definitely be that asset you need on your programming team, but it's an asset. And don't think that you're gonna have this great, I can make this great thing. If you're not experienced, make this great thing without maybe a little bit of help. Or if you're the experienced person, don't think that you're going to eventually completely lose your job, because there's still that human element that is what is the creative part of it. And that's where you can spend your time focusing down the road, is the creative element. Focus on the ideas and what comes next. And if you use the AI for that type of thing, it'll be really good. So if you're interested in knowing more about maybe some of my other projects, or how you could benefit from AI, or how to even use the AI, put in the comments below. If you like this kind of content, subscribe. And of course, like I said, if you're looking for any of our details about our projects, we do have a Buy Me a Coffee membership site where you can get various levels depending what level of membership you've subscribed to. And there is also some free content on there, like the CAN Sniffer design. Both the hardware and the coding are on there, and Gemini helped me create that. So in any case, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you at the next video.